about Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog. Got a standard mono black zombie tribal list. So this is a pretty cool deck. We've got some fantastic new zombie synergy in Core 21, which pretty excited about. This might got a ton of attention, but there's some pretty sweet cards here. One of the cards, of course, is Liliana's Devotee, which is a human warlock, obviously not a zombie. However, zombies you control get +1/+0. And at the beginning of event step, if a creature dies this turn, you can pay 1 in black. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So 3 mana, 2/3, that makes your zombies that much more powerful. And you can sink a couple mana into to make zombie tokens. And the fact that it's any creature, so if you go to combat and your opponent chump blocks and they lose a creature, if you kill something on your turn, you can also trigger this as well. So Liliana's Devotee is actually a pretty sweet card. I've also got Liliana's Steward, which is pretty medium overall, but it's actually a little bit better than maybe I thought it might be. It's a 1/2 for 1 mana, so that's pretty reasonable stats right there. And then you can tap to sacrifice it to make your opponent discard a card. You can only do that at sorcery speed, which is pretty typical for this effect. Of course, your opponent gets to choose that card, which makes it pretty medium, but against certain matchups is still pretty fine. Like if you just have a 1/2 body and you're not going to be able to attack it into it. You know, your opponent can block it easily, and they have cards in hand, and you know that you want to get rid of some of those cards, then you can absolutely sacrifice this, especially if you have other creatures out, and you don't have to worry about using this just to block to keep yourself alive. Because we have some nice card advantage here as well, which is kind of a fun thing about this list. One of those things is Foulmire Knight. It's a 1/1 Death Toucher for 1, and of course you can pay the instant speed side on the adventure to draw a card and lose a life. So pretty nice flexibility. Just as a 2/of, though. It's not anything too amazing, but it's still a pretty solid card. Dreadhorde Invasion, kind of similar thing, just a 2/of. A lot of times this kind of can be more of a hindrance than anything, but it's having this nice creature factory where every upkeep you're going to amass 1. So if you don't have any creatures out, you're still going to get a 1/1 zombie token, and you're going to lose life every turn, which is a little bit of a downside. However, once your zombie gets to be 6 power or greater, it gains lifelink until end of turn. So notice it says power 6, and of course the Liliana's Devotee increases the power by 1, so it kind of speeds up that clock a little bit, which is pretty fantastic. And of course, Core 21 gave us Eliminate, which is just proven to be a fantastic removal spell. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with mana cost 3 or less. For 2 mana, instant speed is great. Lazotep Reaver works great with the Dreadhorde Invasion because it's a 1/2 for 2 mana. And when it enters the battlefield, you amass 1. So it makes your zombie token bigger and lets you attack in for more damage, of course. All 4 copies of Devotee. Another new card we got here is Liliana's Standard Bearer. So it's kind of a similar card to the Murderous Rider. Or not the Murderous Rider, excuse me. The Midnight Reaper. That's the other zombie I was thinking of. Midnight Reaper, of course, is a non-token creatures die. You draw a card and lose 1 life. Standard Bearer is pretty interesting because it's still a 3-powered creature for 3 mana. And it is very splashable because there's just 2 in a black, which is interesting. So I definitely think this card is going to see a lot of play going forward. But we're just running just the 2 copies here. Because when it enters, you do have to pay the 3 mana after creatures have died under your control. So that has to be your creatures, unlike the Devotee, where it can be any creature that dies that triggers that. It has to be your creatures, but then you do get to draw a card for each of those creatures. And again, unlike the Midnight Reaper, it doesn't care about tokens. So even if you're a Dreadhorde Invasion, your mass token dies, you still get to draw a card. So Standard Bearer is a pretty interesting spell, especially you can play it at flash speed. So if your opponent kills stuff with like a sweeper and you have the mana open, you can flash this in after the Shadow of the Sky or whatever has resolved, and you can draw 2, 3, 4 cards, and you don't have to lose any life for it, while getting a 3-powered creature on the board. So in some ways, it's actually better than the Midnight Reaper. So just something to keep in mind. And of course, we're running the 2 copies of Murderous Rider, instant speed removal on creatures and planeswalkers. Drag to the Underworld, destroy target creature. It's got does cost 4 mana, however, it's X is less, where X is your devotion to black. We're mono black. We don't have a ton of devotion, but we have enough that you'll pretty consistently be able to cast this for 2 mana. So that's pretty sweet, having a 2 mana instant speed kill spell. E2 Extinction, same thing, but it also hits planeswalkers and exiles them, and you get to look at the top card of your library and surveil. So you can keep that on top, or you can put it in your graveyard and try to draw something better. And then Rankle is kind of a way for us to be aggressive. You know, there's definitely certain matchups and certain starts where we can be the super aggro deck. Otherwise, we're pretty mid-rangey because we'd have some nice removal and some nice value options to kind of go wide a little bit. But Rankle is kind of gives us an additional option to get some card advantage, or just to be aggressive because it's, you know, fly and haste creature is pretty sweet. And then we can make each player discard a card, each player lose a life, draw a card, each player sack a creature. So it really just depends on what the matchup is. The nice thing about Rankle is it works well with the Foulmire Knight, Liliana Steward, or Dreadhorde Invasion token. Any of those early drops we can use to just sacrifice them just to get our opponent to sacrifice one of their creatures as well. For some additional removal here, we have the Cavalier of Night. 4/5 life thinking is pretty great against other aggressive matchups. And you know, same thing with Rankle. You don't mind. There's plenty of creatures we don't mind sacrificing to destroy creatures on your opponent's side. And of course, with the Cavalier dies, you get one of your creatures back with mana 3 or less. So like the Liliana's Devotee or a Murderous Rider, Liliana's Standard Bearer. There's plenty of good options here you want to get back. And then one copy here of God-Eternal Bontu. It is a zombie, which is nice. 5/6 Menace, which is great as well. And of course, like all the other gods, if it dies or goes to exile, you can put it back into your library, third from the top. However, when it enters the battlefield, we can sacrifice any number of other permanents and then draw that many cards. So it's any permanent. So lands, enchantments, creatures, creature tokens, it doesn't matter. Bontu is great. So if that Dreadhorde Invasion is kind of doing more harm than good, boom, we can sacrifice it, draw something else. You know, go to combat, swing in with our creatures, and then you know, just God-Eternal Bontu can then sacrifice some of those creatures. You know, we have a bunch of you know, 2/2 zombie tokens out. We swung in, we got through for enough damage. We've made anything difficult for our opponent, got their life total nice and low. Bontu can kind of sacrifice some more of those permanents so we can kind of find some more spells while putting a menace creature on the board as well. So there's definitely situations where Bontu can be fantastic. And then the final here, 2 copies of Liliana. She is the zombie general here. 6 mana, 6 loyalty planeswalker. Anytime a creature you control dies, draw a card. So that's pretty amazing. And of course, we +1 to make 2/2 zombie tokens every turn. And if we're a little bit behind, we can also -4 to make each player sacrifice 2 creatures. Or if your opponent just has like 1 or 2 really nasty creatures out, and we don't mind losing, you know, some of our little creatures and drawing some cards in the process. And of course, for -9 is pretty much game ending. So at mana base, we have 25 lands, running 3 Castle Locthwains and 22 swamps. Sideboard here, we got 3 Agonizing Remorse, obviously for the control mid-range matchups. Spyglass, I think you really need a way to deal with like things like the Ugin has, you know, really kind of starting to take over standard a little bit. And this has obviously made a comeback. And there's other dangerous planeswalkers and other spells with powerful activated abilities. And so I think Spyglass is just kind of a must in a lot of slower decks. Unless you're something really aggressive, you can play around planeswalkers just by being super aggro. I think you need a Spyglass or 2 in your sideboard. Some additional planeswalker and creature removal in Murderous Rider. Libation is a way for us to deal with enchantments, or also hexproof, as your opponent has to sacrifice a creature or an enchantment. 3 whole copies here of Leyline of the Void. I'm not sure if we need all 3, but it seems pretty reasonable. So we'll make sure we find this when we need we're going up against graveyard matchups, you know, reanimation or anything like that. And Gruesome Menagerie can come in against removal heavy matchups. We can just take out Bontu, because if our opponent's running tons of removal, then we're probably not going to have as much stuff to sacrifice to Bontu anyway. So we'll just run Gruesome Menagerie instead as a way to kind of get some of those creatures back. We get a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a 3-drop, which we all have nice options to return. And then Erebos Invention is a nice kind of flex spell to help us out with other creature matchups, so we can kill a creature, giving it -X until end of turn, where we gain X life as well. Or we can just exile cards from our opponent's graveyard. So either way, we can get some nice value off Erebos' Intervention. And so yeah, it's the deck. Let's jump into some matches, see how we do. Okay, up against Flying Checkmate. That's a pretty sweet name. Alright, we're going to go first. I'll say we're pretty lucky, but 1 land, not so lucky. So we'll have to mulligan. Okay, this is not super amazing, but definitely not going to say no. So we also have a 1-drop. And we have a Castle Locthwain, so we're not in terrible shape here. Just need to hopefully find some good draws. Okay, turn 1 Forest into Pelt Collector. Okay, so our opponent's got a reasonably aggressive deck. Do we swing in here for one, or we just let our Steward die and prevent 2 damage? I think we just swing in 1 here. They can attack for 2. If they're in Gruul, of course, it could get a little bit messy, but with this mulligan and these draws, I think we're probably not winning against Gruul anyway. So let's always chip away. If they're just mono green or something, then maybe we have a little bit of a chance to kind of race them, especially if we start drawing into our removal spells. And of course, if we it's kind of like we're trying to race, then we can also catch them off guard with a Standard Bearer flashing in next turn. Okay, just attacking for 1. That's not what I was expecting. Wow, our opponent kept a 1 land hand. So they have plenty of discard fodder, so no reason to activate this at all. Yeah, we'll just keep chipping away. So now we have to decide if we want a Standard Bearer here just to trigger the Belt Collector, or maybe just flash it in as a 3-powered creature and then kill whatever creature they have left. I mean, if they're just attacking for 1, we're not really too worried about that. I mean, they could have like giant growths and things like that, but we're still a ways from that actually mattering. So I think I'd rather just be mana efficient and get the Standard Bearer down. Sure, you can hit for 4, no problem. We'll go down to 15. Wow, they just kept a pretty terrible hand. So we don't get any value off of that, which is unfortunate. We'll go for the Locthwain. And yeah, we still attack. We have the Eliminate. Okay, so we have Eliminate open, and then Bontu can maybe come in post-combat. So we'll let them see if they have another giant growth. No. Wow, our opponent kept a really bad hand, and they've had terrible draws since then. That's, I guess that's one way to play Magic. I don't like the mulligan either, but I don't think I would have kept that. Cavalier of Night. So we still need our manas. So do we... maybe we just sack the Steward. Just draw a card, and if it's a land... It's going to feel a little bit unfortunate, but we'll just draw a card. I think the Steward has done its job. Of course, we don't know we were going to draw a land for sure. We still need fodder for the Cavalier. So if they do drop another creature here, we'll get through for 5. Menace, guaranteed. And if we just keep them off creatures, then they're just going to lose to the Bontu here. Although they've kind of lost by keeping a 1-land hand. So we'll see how game 2 goes. Hopefully they have better luck this time. Okay, so it looks like they're just mono green aggro. So all the speed removal is going to be great. Probably not going to have a way to deal with Rankle. Standard Bearer is okay. So we could bring in the Murderous Rider just for some additional removal. Either shave off the Lilianas, or maybe even take out the Dreadhorde Invasion. If they're in green, they could have obviously enchantment removal. So we'll just play it safe and do that. Although from what we've seen, might not even have to do anything. When in doubt, less is usually more when it comes to sideboarding. Okay, so 2 into 3, and then we have a couple 5 drops. That's seems pretty reasonable. So yeah, we'll keep with 3 lands. No 1 drop from them. Okay, 4th land, which is okay. We're just looking for more removal at this point. And direct Underworld, that'll do. So our opponent has 2 lands this time, but they don't have anything to cast. Yeah, that's curious. So I'll probably just go for the Devotee next turn. And then we'll have drag on 4, depending on what else we draw here. So now with the Devotee coming down, we can swing for 4. They must have a creature here. Wow, still no creature. So our opponent has just had 0 luck with these draws, apparently. And Devotee is actually a pretty sweet card. If only it were a zombie. Man, I'm so excited when Amonkhet gets released back onto Arena, the remastered version later this summer. Oh man, Lord of the Accursed. To go along with Death Baron and things that are already viable. It's gonna be super sweet. The zombies are gonna be a lot of fun. How does our opponent still not have any spells here? I'm so confused. Well, we'll drop another Devotee. I don't think we have to play around sweepers. So we gotta swing for 8, put them down to 8. And if they do finally drop a creature, we just kill it. So kind of an awkward first match. And looks like our opponent's maybe just giving up here. Well, we'll finish it off. There we go. Alright, against Cheeky Seraph. Gonna go first. 3 lands, 2, 3, and 4 drops. That's pretty solid, some removal. Charmed Strip. So this Cat's deck. Or life gain. Daxos. That's a good target to kill. Eliminate as well, that's pretty good. Just get the Daxos off the board. Yeah, swing 1. We have some options next turn, but we can only cast 1 spell. Pride Mate, it's a good creature to get rid of. I just can attack 1. Do we want to take this trade? Yeah, why not? Let's get that Charm Stray off the board. We can Rankle and get rid of the Pride Mate. And still hold up the removal spells. Want to discard? Could discard a land. But then going land would mean we can play both our spells next turn, so we'll just go with the Sacrifice. Reaver's not really doing much, so we'll get to the Pride Mate. And next turn we'll have 5 mana to Devotee plus Eliminate. Although of course Rankle is not a zombie. Okay. Crashing Drawbridge. You got it, bud. Okay, so we found a Liliana, so good thing we didn't discard a land. I think we'll just attack 3. Call it good. I think we don't do anything. But we do want to draw land, so maybe we should have drawn there. But I'm not really sure I want to give my opponent any outs here either. I could have a Healer's Hawk to get in front of this Rankle. We do have don't have Trapboard, does have just Flying and Haste. Well, there's an Angel. So that's a good target to eliminate. Okay, 1 mana open. Could have been a protection spell. I mean, if you're running cards like Crashing Drawbridge, I don't know. We'll just get down second Devotee. And I think we'll actually draw plus sacrifice here. We do want to get the 6 land. So we'll draw and sacrifice. So we'll lose a Devotee because they're not really doing too much in this spot. So they're going to lose their... so we'll lose 1. Creature dies and we can pay to make a 2/2 zombie. which will be a 3/2 zombie thanks to the other Devotee. So there's land. We could play Rider, but I think we'll just go for the token. There we go. Save the Rider in case they're running. Just play around potential sweeper. It's like a lot of these primates do like to be cheeky with the 1 or 2 of Shadow the Sky. Okay, Giant Killer coming down just as a 1/2, no problem. Liliana can come down and do some nasty stuff here. Where's Giant Killer? Let's make a token. We swing all. They're still at 10. They're going to gain some life as well, so I think we still have to kind of play a little bit slow. We'll go for the I think we'll just go for the sacrifice. And which zombie do we want? I like the I like this Liliana zombie better. And they lose their Giant Killer. Eat to Extinction. Alright. Okay, Daxos number 2. And give their Pridemate lifelink and then attack here. That could have some kind of a pump spell. Let's throw a block in case that's what they were trying to do. If they want to kill the 3/2, that's fine. So maybe they just want to gain the 2 life, go up to 9. Put a token on Daxos. We're happy to exile it, so yeah. Good game. I mean, you're playing mono white life game. That's a pretty cheesy strategy. So we'll go discard. We're at 5. We can force him to draw next turn. Steward can go. I think we just hold open. Drag to the Underworld. If you do play life gain, I'm sorry, but that's my least favorite strategy to play against. It just, depending on what you're up to, it's just kind of frustrating. So definitely want the Libation. Throwing in Gideon, we could bring in Spyglass, but it doesn't seem worth it. Just shut down the Heliod lifelink activation for what it's worth, which I don't think is much. So what do we want to take out? Maybe just our own invasion. It's another good reason to just run 2 copies because it's easy to take out. It's not too critical to our game plan. It's nice having that zombie token come down every turn. But if all you need it for is just chump blocking, then you're probably just better off with some removal or something else instead. Erebos' intervention could be okay, but those Pridemates can get big, so it might just get out of range of an intervention. Same thing with Daxos. That's probably fine how it is. If we go to game 3, we could always bring in the Murderous Riders for something. If we just find we need all the removal that we can get our hands on. But I think we lined up pretty well that game, so we'll see how it goes. This turn they got to go first. So let's drop the Steward on 1 here. Depending on what we draw, I might just play the Knight on 2. But if we do draw lands, I might want to save it for a card draw. Though we do have these 3 drops. So yeah, they have the Healer's Hawk on turn 1. So and get to go first, so they probably just win this one. Daxos, Healer's Hawk into Daxos into Heliod, or Pridemate. Either one of those. Wow, no Pridemate. That's good. If they have the Daxos President, just jam it there. Oh, we have Eliminate. So maybe we'll just hold open Eliminate and just swing 1, keep the life total in check. You attack the Healer's Hawk, you can't. you're gonna turn it into a 4/4. Okay, so let's let them exile it, and we'll kill the 4/4 token. Cool. Yeah, I thought it was pretty nice. I'm not sure why you need to make a 4/4 just to get rid of a 1/2. That's pretty interesting. But hey, you do you. Okay, so they're at 20 life. They can block, gain 1, but then their speaker dies. Let's see. So they have to have 27 life for that to really matter. I think we'll just hold open these 3 instant speed spells here. We can just draw if they don't do anything too interesting, or we can kill whatever they play. Of course, Libation is there for the Heliod, since that's an enchantment creature. Attack 1. Angel says you gain additional life, so we'll say no. So we're going to take 2, which is fine. They go back to 20. Having 4 mana here is a little bit awkward, but maybe we'll just Foulmire draw and play it. Just to be the most efficient. So we found our 5th land, which is pretty solid. So now we have a 2-drop plus a 3-drop next turn. So I think we're just holding on to Libation for Heliod at this point. So if we don't see Heliod, then we'll probably just go Rider into Lazotep, and then we can Bontu at some point later on. So if they want to attack in with the speaker, we'll absolutely take this block. I could give it. I think there's ways in white to give it indestructible, obviously, but if you're gonna keep your Speaker of the Heavens around just for that. So we know they have that Angelic Ascension, which is an interesting removal spell, we'll say. So 2 1/1s, which makes our Libation bad if we are going to choose the creature route. But we do want to keep these off the board, so we'll take that trade. Devotee, that's pretty interesting too. But I still think we just go for the Lazotep plus Rider. And we'll attack 1. If they want to block, if they want to do some kind of a trick here, that's fine. I think they kind of learned their lesson with the last one. So we'll just drop the Rider. So we're not in a great spot if they do have a removal spell, but not in a terrible spot either, since we do have a couple follow-up creatures and a removal spell still in hand. It's not like we're losing anything too critical with this board state. So I still need to gain life for this speaker to get value. So I'm not understanding why they keep attacking in with it, just to suicide it. Netherland. So we have 6 here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and Devotee. And what do we got? We just got the Murderous Rider to swing in with. Well, so be it. I think this is one of those spots where we can sack the Steward and force them to discard one of those cards. And it's not doing too much otherwise. And I don't think we need Libation if they tap out for a Heliod. I mean, they have 4, so they could go land into Heliod. Nope, Linden. Okay, so they're going to gain a couple life here. Can't block your flyer. Liliana. That's super sweet. That is super, super sweet. I'll swing with the Rider, see what they do. So if we -4, then Tomic can just kill it. So I think we just go for the plus here. Okay, Pride Mate, so that's going to grow pretty big. So we need a way to deal with this board so we can kind of make this either Libation or the sacrifice from Liliana effective. I mean, if we get him down to 3 creatures and keep Liliana alive, then that would be pretty sweet. But they're just playing it slow here with the Tomic. Yep. Standard bearer. Could swing all and draw 1,000,000 cards. That's something. Alright, let's just swing all. Let's get some card advantage going, dig for some removal. We're going to push across some damage here. Wow, they just take it. Down to 3.
This looks like a fun new toy.
Oh, man. Pass. Okay, Daxos. Just stacking 2. We're blocking your Linden for sure. And Speaker. Resolve. I don't know why they didn't attack in with Pride Mate. I guess they're just keeping it back on blocks. Do we flash in the bearer to kill something, or do we just... I think we just block the Linden, flash it in, and gain, draw a card.
Not today, Death.
I guess Daxos is a target for Pharika's Libation as well. I mean, Eliminate works as well. So we killed Pride Mate, swing. Swing a lot. Let's drop the Devotee. Definitely going to want that down. I don't think Tomic matters at this point anymore. Pride Mate's the biggest creature, so let's just deal with that and swing all. Sure, gain your little bit of life, dude. Swing all. All right. So yeah, pretty sweet showing there. So awkward game 1, game 2. I definitely feel like we earned that one. Like I said, you know, we got some nice removal spells, Eliminate, put in some work there. The Devotee doesn't necessarily look like much, but that's proven to be a fantastic card, making zombie tokens, pumping up all your zombie creatures of any sort. What else did we have in there? That Standard Bearer also came through with some nice advantage. And it's been able to put at flash speed. Excuse me, that was the wrong one. Oops, got a little sneak preview there. Yeah, the Standard Bearer, just been able to flash it in as a 3-powered creature. You can throw off your opponent's combat as well. They think they have an attack into your Liliana or just your life total, and you can just flash this in and kill something by blocking with it. The Bontu definitely felt right as just the one. You know, we had it in that game 2 and just didn't have the right spot to cast it. But you know, we did get some card advantage off of it earlier, and just nice, you know, 5/6 menace body is pretty fantastic. And of course, anything that you can, any excuse to play Liliana works great. So having a zombie tribal list where Liliana typically sees play in like Esper control and Dimir control, things like that. So nice being able to play a zombie tribal list where Liliana actually gets to see some play and puts in some work. We saw the drag to Underworld a little bit. Rankle is just fantastic, even though it's not a zombie. You know, there's not really too many zombies in the 4-drop slot that are actually playable, so Rankle fills that role just fine. Same thing here with the Cavalier. It's not a zombie, but it synergizes what we're trying to do here. It's a removal spell on a creature with a lifelink, which works great with the Dreadhorde Invasion or any aggressive matchups, and then getting one of our zombies back into play, or even the Devotee. But yeah, the Devotee has been very pleasantly surprised, or not surprised, but just very pleased with this card. And even the Steward there, you know, that's that 1/2 body. It felt pretty reasonable in all those games that we played. And then, like you saw when we had a board state where we had other creatures down, and we didn't necessarily need that creature just as a 1/2. It wasn't really doing too much to the board, so just getting rid of our opponent's one of our opponent's cards, and they discarded a Conclave Tribunal, I believe it was. That worked out pretty fantastic. So yeah, lots of nice tools here with the zombie tribal. So hopefully it'll kind of make a comeback, even if it is not the most competitive list. Zombies are just always fun to play. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, make sure you jank with a purpose.